Welcome, everybody. We are live on the Toronto Sports Rush channel, brought to you by Bet Rivers. My name is Kyle Andrew. I am joined by the one, the only Mr. Dan O'Toole. Dan, how are you doing this morning?
We're live.
Yes.
Um, I wasn't aware we were going live until we went live. So this is a problem I run into, Kyle, in my life. Is I live in the moment, and sometimes I miss details that are fed to me, like that we're going live. But it makes life interesting. You know what? It's never not boring, my friend.
And it can't be boring. I mean, to be fair, I was actually handed this shirt 2 minutes ago and told that I was contractually obligated to wear it, and it doesn't fit correctly. So
Whoa, whoa, whoa! So you're in like with the big shirt industry?
I'm in Big Shirt. Yes, Big Shirt is controlling most of my moves.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm kind of in the shirt. This is a Rolo golf shirt. They send me stuff this year, but Kyle,
Right.
I got a problem here.
Yeah.
So Rolo Golf, great Canadian company. They make golf shirts
Mhm.
every year. They send me their new collection for the summer. At the start of this year, they said, Dan, I can't wait to send you stuff. Um, give me your address, and I send it every year. Nothing came. And so you're stuck in a predicament. And I'm like, do I say, guys, where's the shirts? I'm not that guy. So I just left it. What would you do in that situation?
Well, I hate to go there, but are they paying you? Because I mean,
No,
so
no.
you're
I
not.
just
They're
I
just.
just
It's
I
just
just
a.
make a little Instagram video for them, and it's a great relationship. It's
Yeah,
a give and give.
it's a good looking shirt. Have you ever worn them to actually golf? Because you're a golfer.
Oh yeah, that's all I wear. It's the only thing I wear. A
It's
Rolo
got
golf.
Day of the Dead sort of vibes. Very. Is that? Am I seeing that correctly? Those like the Mexican flowered
Yeah.
skulls. It looks good. You look good, Dan.
Thanks,
This
buddy. So
this
would
is
you
Brooks
send a
Brothers.
follow up or just leave it till next summer?
Well, if you like the shirt, send the follow up because I don't know if you know this, Dan, but sometimes large companies have miscommunication issues.
Okay. Okay. I'm just Uh, yeah, I'm one of those guys where like I don't want to bug them.
Yeah.
Sometimes but then you're in your own head so much. You're like the person would be like, "This isn't a bother." Oh, we forgot. Thanks for reminding us. So I'm in my own head.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you either because you're trying not to be a pest and you're trying not to be a nuisance.
That's right. And
But you
then,
got to look good.
but conversely, I'm like, well, if they don't send them, then I don't have to make a video, so I don't have to do any work. So it's a win-win either way.
Right, and I assume you're a man of enough shirts that you're not like dying for having your back covered.
These ones are getting. I need a new batch. I need a new batch. I could use a new Jays jersey. You know, I've never owned a Jays jersey in my adult life. I had one. This is way back. There's an age difference between us. So this is when I was like 7 or 8, and I had one of those really cheap knockoffs. But to
Mhm.
me, I was in the big leagues with that Jays jersey. I haven't had one since.
I have never owned a Major League Baseball jersey despite baseball long time being my favorite sport.
I love that.
NFL,
I love
hockey,
that sentence.
you're welcome.
Baseball, long time.
Listen, we're trying to reach international markets. We're doing what we're doing. We're doing what we have to do. Speaking of the Blue Jays, Dan, they
Yeah.
invited the umpires to their game the batting practice last night. Did you see that game? Did you get to see a lot of it?
I sure did. I just talked to Keegan Matheson, our Jays insider. You can see Keegs and I have a discussion every Wednesday on our YouTube channel, and I brought up this little tale. I said, Keegs, I was putting my little one to bed. I said, let me just watch a bit of the game. Jays got up 8-1. So I'm like, bedtime, no stress. I'm gonna come back. This game might even be over. I came back to the front of the TV. It was 10-8. I was not up there a long time, Kyle.
No. It was a wild contest last night. They're showing us something different every night. I mean, thank God the bats seem to be dialed in over the course of the last few weeks. There's been some bullpen issues, but they switched things up last night. The pitching at the front of the game wasn't very good. But I'm not 100% certain what to make of this team, but as long as they put W's on the board, should be okay. But both the Yankees and the Red Sox also held serve last night, both 2.5 back right now.
As we get set for a series against the Yankees. So the big problem people have right now is the Jays closer, Jeff Hoffman. Um, Keegs and I discussed this at length because they pointed out on the broadcast last night. Hoffman was never a closer
Right.
until he came to the Jays. He had 10 career saves. And closers blow games, they blow saves. I'm going back in the time machine to when the Jays had Tom Henke and Dwayne Ward. Dwayne Ward would set up the game. He would set up the eighth inning, leaving way for Tom Henke to come in close out. I remember as a 10-year-old in 1985 screaming at my TV at Cito Gaston, or sorry, it was Bobby Cox then,
Yeah.
screaming at my TV saying, "What are you doing putting this guy in?" Because Tom Henke, when he came in, he would always allow a base runner. Sometimes the bases would become full because of Tom Henke walking or giving up hits, but he would always get out of it. So I'm just saying this because I want to ease the fears of Jays fans. Like, this happens to closers, even the game's greats, which Tom Henke was. And if you look at the league leaders, Hoffman is third, I think, in saves in at least the American League with 30. So screw ups happen. And as
Yeah.
Keegan pointed out, he said he has to screw up a lot before he loses his job. So he's there. He's there for good. So let's hope for the best.
I think that's a completely fair assessment, Dan. I mean, things have obviously not been going ideal, but the rest of the team is clicking well. They have one of the most formidable lineups of starting pitchers in the major leagues, and I think they can work through this. And they certainly have the offensive prowess to compensate for it. So I don't think it's the whole henny penny the sky is falling moment here yet, but something to definitely keep an eye on. Would you agree? I'm sure Keegan feels the same.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to be nail biting for the entire month of September. And again, I go back to when I fell in love with baseball
Yeah.
as a little 10-year-old running around Peterborough, Ontario, the 85 Jays. They won their first pennant. And I remember stopping everything in my life to listen to games on the radio because every single win mattered. So
Yeah.
enjoy it. This doesn't come around very often. It's going to be nerve wracking. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be vomit inducing. But this is why we watch sports. We don't
We're
get it very often. It's the best. It's the best reality TV out
yeah.
there. So
And we're trying
enjoy
to
it.
we're trying to hold off the two most storied franchises in all of baseball. That's exciting theater.
Yeah, it's David versus Goliath,
It's
baby.
incredible. Yeah, the Blue Jays who can barely afford anything. Okay, well, let's talk
Hey,
about
hey
someone
guys,
who has been
FYI
consistency.
guys,
Yes, Tim.
jumping in.
Producer Tim's on the line.
Hey, so Hoffman is actually tied for fourth in saves with 30.
What have you done for me lately, producer Tim?
But his ERA is 4.94.
Yeah, that's not great.
No, it's not. It is
But we
panic inducing.
Okay, but you know
Yeah.
who is not panic inducing because he's been an offensive machine lately? We got to talk about Bo Bichette. Not a serious by odds makers. The guy's plus 25,000 right now to be the AL MVP, but should he be in that conversation? He has been lighting things up. Like, it's
He's
impressive.
plus 25,000.
Vlad Guerrero, who is statistically not having as good of a year, is plus 20,000. I don't understand what's going on there.
Bo Bichette might win a batting title this year. Right now, he is third in batting average in the AL, 15 points behind Aaron Judge. Bichette hitting 310. I know people are into analytics and stuff, but I'm sorry. I'm all about hits, RBI, batting average.
He's way up
Bo
there in
Bichette
RBI.
hits 177, leads the AL. And runs batted in. I think he has over 90 RBI or close to. He might win a batting title this year. Bo Bichette
91.
is 91. He is the Blue Jays MVP in my mind.
Yeah, he's clearly the Blue Jays MVP. I think plus 25. I don't think he's going to get the MVP votes, but there's definitely Aaron Judge fatigue. Cal Raleigh is obviously breaking new ground.
Big dumper.
You know, give him the award just based on the nickname, yes, but he's batting below 240.
The most home runs ever for a catcher.
Yeah, and he'll be clearing that by a substantial margin still. Like he's already got the record. He'll be closer to 60 than anything, really.
Hey, call me crazy, but when guys hit 240 and hit 51 bombs, I don't care. Just
Yeah, and
do it.
Okay, so Bichette fairly was being criticized for a season last year. How about facing the pressure of a team getting better, responding this way? That's impressive too.
I have never had more confidence in someone at the plate than when Bo Bichette comes up. And a lot of times it'll be with 2 outs, he'll get a single, and it enters my mind, okay, well, we don't he's not gonna come home here. He's getting a hit, but he gets a hit in any situation. Vladdy Guerrero does not do that. Vladdy Guerrero, and Keegan has pointed this out, has not had a Vladdy moment. He needs
Yeah,
to have a Vladdy moment. Max Scherzer essentially called him out and he said, "Hey, he's done great things, but we need him to do great things now."
agreed.
Every time Vladdy comes up in a crucial situation, nothing happens.
They're heading into Yankee Stadium this weekend. And I'm pretty sure, will you not? I believe you're going to be talking to our guy, Mike Francesa, big Yankees guy, later this week, I think, about that series. That's the moment for Vladdy, but that's also going to be a litmus test for Bo Bichette to see how he performs, which so far it's been flawlessly on the biggest of big stages.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to the Pope because he and Onright, my former broadcast partner, and myself had a big beef at one point, and we're like, what's going on?" Because he was upset he had to keep reading these promos for who are these guys, Jay and Dan? I don't know who these guys are. And so it turned into a whole thing, and people are like, you mad at him? We're like, yeah, no one in America knows who we are, so we aren't mad at him at all. So I'm happy to finally talk to him mano a mano about that whole situation, which he probably won't even remember.
One last point on the Blue Jays before we bring in our guest, Dan. Shane Bieber's making his third start tonight. I'm so excited about this guy, and I've been excited about him since the trade. How are you feeling about Bieber?
Beebs, the best. Is this the weekend where it's the nickname game? Because his nickname on the back of his shirt is not Justin.
I don't know, actually. That's a good
That's the
question.
one he chose, not Justin. Big dumper, we know what that one will be.
Are they going to censor that one to be like a slash through it?
Oh,
I
no.
love that.
I love Beebs. This
Yeah.
was if you went into the Reddit of baseball, a lot of people that know the game saw the Jays getting Bieber
Yep.
as the biggest deal, despite the fact he hadn't pitched since having Tommy John, that he hadn't pitched in the big leagues. He had pitched in the minors, and people said this might be the biggest deal at the deadline. And so far, he has been absolutely fantastic. The bullpen has let him down, but Biebs at Yankee Stadium. Oh man, this is what fall baseball is all about. I love that he's a Blue Jay. I just hope he's going to be a Blue Jay long term.
Yeah, I think signing him long term would be a key to success beyond this season. And I'll say this about the Toronto Blue Jays in a market in which the Toronto Maple Leafs tend to dominate the news cycle, they are actually doing a pretty good job of holding their own right now. But we can't avoid Toronto Maple Leafs talk. They're signing people left, right, and center. They just extended goaltender who is my size, and I signed off on that one. Dennis Hildeby through another 3-year deal. I know he's going to sit behind the two main guys, but he's a good third option. Dan, I don't think you follow the Leafs too much in the offseason. Where are you at with the Leafs right now?
The goalie you just said, I didn't know they signed him.
Okay.
Good
Well,
for
that just
them.
happened. Fair enough. Yeah, good for them indeed. But you
Good.
know who does follow the Leafs religiously? I'm going to bring him in. Let's bring in Mr. Pierre
Oh.
McGuire, channel contributor, host of McGuire Monday, one of our favorite shows. We take turns hosting that sometimes, Dan. Pierre, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. Congratulations to both of you on your maiden voyage. I'm so happy and proud to be part of it. Dan, I've known you a long time. Kyle, I've known you the last year and a bit, and I couldn't be happier for both of you. Dan, to be totally frank with you, I've had the honor and privilege of being on Mike Francesa's show very often. Brian Monzo was his producer, and we did a lot of stuff during the NHL playoffs for probably 16 or 17 years. And tell you what, his passion for sports is amazing and his memory is really good. I bet he does remember your situation with Jay Onright. And Kyle, I'm so happy for you, man. You've hit it out of the park. You just care so much about the Maple Leafs organization and around sports in Toronto. So congratulations to both of you.
So can I just touch upon? So I'm, as we mentioned, I'm going to be talking to him about the Yankees and Jays this weekend
Yeah,
in New York. Pierre, I'm sure, been in the Big Apple when the Yankees
yeah.
are nearing the postseason, have a shot at it. There's just something in the air there.
Well, I'm old enough to remember Bucky Dent over the Green Monster in Fenway Park back in the late 1970s. So, yeah, there's a lot of special stuff in the air. Yankee baseball is Yankee baseball. I remember being a little boy, 1967. My dad drove me from Montreal down to the old Yankee Stadium for Bat Day. And I watched the Washington Senators play against the New York Yankees. Real bats. They didn't give out little bats, they were real bats. And so I've always followed the Yankees. My heart was broken when the Montreal Expos were taken out of Montreal. But I've always, when it comes to cheering for baseball, because it's a Canadian city, I cheer for the Blue Jays as much as I cheer for the Yankees. And the Yankees and the Expos were always my two favorite
I
teams.
just want to jump in here. So if you did a real bat promotion now, it would end in disaster. So Pierre, my question to you is, what is the worst giveaway that you ever saw in your time in the NHL where you're like, what were they thinking?
In Philadelphia, I did a playoff game and they gave away lights that they were swinging around, and the Flyers lost the playoff game. And I was down there interviewing one of the players, and people were winging him at the player from the visiting team. It was unbelievable. It was really dangerous. So I actually took the player. We left the ice and we got right up against the glass where the coaches stand, and it was difficult for them to actually get those lights to land on. So we ended up doing the interview, but all you saw in the shot were like lights flying past us the whole time. It's pretty amazing.
It was a different time, was it not? You must
Um,
have a million stories like that.
Yeah, I do. I got a lot. I mean, I remember playing in an exhibition game once in the National Hockey League, and somebody threw a brown bag on the ice, but inside the brown bag was a bottle of booze. So if it hit somebody, it could have caused a problem.
But if it doesn't hit someone, it could have caused a party, which isn't the worst thing because back in the NHL, all you had to do was spin around on the bench, light a dart up, and then have a couple of shots. You're good to go for the power play.
Back in the 70s and 80s, that might have worked.
Pierre, not naming names, did you ever have a player or play with someone who said, yeah, I need like a shot before the game or a shot during the game?
No, never once. I never did. I've seen guys smoke.
Yes.
I'll never forget
Al
coaching.
Iafredi.
He smoked a lot. But one of the funniest things is, and it is funny, when Tampa came into the league, we're talking about expansion and different teams. Tampa came in the league. They didn't play in downtown Tampa. They played at the Tampa Fairgrounds, Dan and Kyle. And what I remember is guys were doing their sticks under the palm trees. And, Terry Crisp was coaching Tampa and I was coaching Hartford. And I'm like, Crispy's as intense as I am. He can't be liking this because I was really ticked off. I didn't like it at all. And guys weren't just doing their sticks. They had the blowtorches back in those days. They were lighting cigarettes with the blowtorches outside. I was like, wow, this is too much. This has to stop.
So, Pierre, we're talking about the way the game used to be to a certain degree here, and things were obviously a lot looser. But I mean, we didn't all have phones in our pocket. We weren't inundated by social media. And something that comes up on McGuire Monday on post-game shows all the time, referencing the Leafs, is how difficult that market is to play in. With all the off-season changes and with all that pressure we just can't avoid discussing, in your analysis, what can we expect from a Toronto Maple Leafs team that's about to go through training camp?
A team that can compete for the Eastern Conference Final, a team that should win their division. I mean that. I have no disrespect meant to Boston or no disrespect to Montreal or Ottawa or Florida or Tampa. They're all really good teams. That's a tough division. Even Detroit and Buffalo, good teams getting better. But Toronto's really good. And I know there are a lot of doom and gloomers out there, but I'm telling you right now, the addition of Dakota Joshua, if he stays healthy, helps that team a lot. The addition of Matthias Michelli helps that team a lot, especially in terms of offense. And I like the addition of Thrun. Henry Thrun is a very good puck mover. He needs to be more stout defensively, but that's a good addition. Signing Dennis Hildeby, I like what Dano said, Kyle. There's good depth there. That's a good signing, and that's at a reasonable price point. That's a fantastic deal for the team. Look at how well they did, obviously, with Anthony Stolars. Stolars was a steal. He was probably the best unrestricted free agent last year, coming out of the Florida Panthers organization and playing in Toronto. I'm really bullish on it. And there's one move that hasn't been talked about enough. Lane Lambert is now the head coach of the Seattle Kraken. He's been replaced by Derek Lalonde. I've known Derek a long time, guy from upstate New York. And what he is he's a really smart tactician. He's got NHL Stanley Cup winning pedigree, and he's been a head coach in an original six market. This guy knows everything about the division. He was in Tampa and he was in Detroit. That's a huge asset. He has more internal knowledge of that division, talking about the Atlantic division, than Lane Lambert ever had. Lane never worked in the Atlantic. Lane worked in the Metro. Big difference. Big difference. So that's an addition to Toronto that's not getting talked about enough. The addition of Derek Lalonde.
Pierre, thanks for crediting me with saying something poignant about the Leafs goalie. Because I simply said I didn't hear that news. But hey, I wanted to ask you, have you looked at the stats, or do you know offhand, you might, Craig Berube is going to be in his second year behind the bench. What are the differences between the first and the second year historically for coaches coaching good teams? Is there a massive jump in a team? Does it stay level? What can we expect?
I'm going to use Chicago as a comparable because I think every situation is different. So if you go look at the '09 Chicago Blackhawks, good, not great, but good. You look at the 2010 Chicago Blackhawks, Joel Quenneville, they're established. They win the Stanley Cup. Their younger players understood exactly what Joel wanted. So whether it was Brent Seabrook, Duncan Keith, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, it didn't matter. The young guys that had to be impact players figured out what Joel expected and wanted. So there's less of a feeling out process right now, Dan, I think, with what's going on with Craig Berube there in Toronto. And I think Austin Matthews knows what he wants. I think Matthew Nyes knows what he wants. I'm guaranteeing you that all the defensemen know what Mike Van Ryan wants because that's how he communicates to his team. Van Ryan's a tremendous communicator. So I think actually the expectation, as I see it, should be higher on Toronto compared to last year.
Yeah, and Pierre, I think that's fair. And we've talked about this so much over the course of the last year. Berube needs time, and this organization needs time for the new plan to get settled here, to take place, and really catch its legs. And, with all the doom and gloom at the end of last season, they still played Florida better than anyone else managed to. And we are now seeing this team take a shape in the mold that a Craig Berube type of coach wants, so much better than last year's.
So well said, Kyle. And here's the biggest thing that I look at when I'm thinking about Toronto Maple Leafs in particular. There's not going to be this feeling out process. They know exactly what Berube wants in the first period, in the last 5 minutes of a period, at the tail end of a game. He knows exactly, or the players know exactly what he's going to accept and what he's not going to accept. There's not going to be this feeling out process when they go on the road. What's he going to be like? Does he have a curfew? Doesn't he have a curfew? All this stuff. It's gone. The players haven't figured out. And if guys, I'm not trying to put all the pressure on one player, but if Austin Matthews stays healthy, and I know everybody's worried about Marner not being there, but if Austin Matthews stays healthy and he gets 40 to 50 goals, which is kind of in his territory, that's a big bonus for Toronto. That makes any coach, whether it's Berube or anybody else, it makes any coach better.
Hey, Pierre, before we let you go, I want to play a little game. We play this whenever we talk on McGuire Mondays. I've got a wall of hockey cards. There's some golfers in there. I point to a card and it's called 1 Degree of Pierre, and you tell us your connection. So far, you're batting 1,000. Every player or even golfer I've pointed to, you have had an interaction with. So here we go. Here is today's selection. I will turn around and point. We have, this is a softball, Peter Bondra.
Peter Bonder, one of the true gentlemen in the National Hockey League, guy that comes from Kosice and Presov in Slovakia, was originally born in the old Soviet Union. Spent a lot of really cool days talking to him at the rink, whether it was in Landover, whether it was down in Washington, D.C. He's an amazing ambassador for the Washington Capitals brand, one of the elite scorers in his time. I can tell you, having drawn up game plans to try to stop him, we paid a lot of attention to Peter Bonder. He was a spectacular talent and somebody that I had a lot of respect for as a man, not just as a player, but as a man, a true gentleman, Dan, a real gentleman.
Pierre, you're amazing. And You are so good at that it almost seems like, oh yeah, you gave him the name ahead of time.
No,
No,
he
that's
didn't.
just how
No,
good Pierre is.
no, that definitely didn't
No,
happen.
he did not. You know what? You know what the hardest thing is when you talk about a player like Peter Bondra? He never won the
Pronouncing where
Stanley,
he's from.
never won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Never won the Stanley Cup. I mean, think about how good, like Rod Langway, Dale Hunter, Peter Bondra, Dmitry Kristich, Kalle Johansson, Kevin Hatcher. Like I go down the line, Donnie Beaupre. Go look at those Washington Capital rosters in the late 80s and the early 90s. It was crazy. It was criminal. And
You
the
left off
problem they
Olaf Kolzig.
Ole was there a little bit, but here's the thing that happened. They ran into an amazing Penguins organization, and they were at that time. They ran into an unbelievable Rangers organization, and then they got crushed by the New Jersey Devils. Go look at that time frame in history when they should have been trending up. Devils, Rangers, and Pittsburgh were killing everybody, and they were all in the same division.
Mhm.
Pierre, I've got one last question about the point you just made for you. How much does that haunt a player like Bondra or the guys that just, they had the team and they were so close and they just didn't cross the finish line?
I think it does. I think it stays with you. I remember telling Scotty Bowman we had won the cup in '91 and we were walking out of the old arena in Bloomington, Minnesota, and I said, I would never want to go through this and lose at the end. It would drive me crazy. And he said, Pierre, it happened to me 3 times, and it's not a lot of fun. It's not a lot of fun. So I think it does. I think it's, even though you're talking about the winningest coach in the history of hockey, Scotty Bowman, he still remembers his losses when he was in St. Louis back in the 1960s and early 70s. So yeah, no, I think it does haunt you. And I can only imagine what it'd be like for a player, Kyle. It'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Pierre,
tough.
you know what wasn't terrible? You being here, my friend.
I love being with you guys. I'm so happy for both of you. I hope this isn't my last voyage on your ship. And have a great show. And good luck to the Blue Jays. I'm hoping they get there.
And here's what I say to you. This show will have a name next time you're here.
I'm ready for it, brother. I'm ready. Have a good one, man. Thank you.
See you soon, Pierre.
Take care.
He's the best.
I'm good at naming shows. All I got to say is I came up with McGuire Mondays.
That was you?
Yeah.
It's a great name because his name starts with an M, and so does the word Monday.
Yeah. So we're looking for a show name. Hey, send us an email. Where do you send it? I'm not sure.
Leave it in the comments. Like,
Leave it in the
subscribe,
comments.
all the YouTube stuff.
Yeah. Problem is, I'd never see it. I'm done looking at comments. Although I did see a comment yesterday. I made a little cooking video, first one I've ever made, and then someone's comment was, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, "See what? Did I like? What?" Like I was thinking, like, "Oh no, there was something lying around the house, even though there's nothing here." And then someone said, "Yeah, the hair." And I looked and I zoomed in, and the egg I made, there was a hair in it. So I owned it. I'm like, "Yep, there was a hair."
What was
Didn't
it? Your
see it.
hair?
Pardon me?
Was it your hair? Let's hope.
No, it was a cat
Oh.
hair.
Ah, well, that's your cat. That's fine. It's a little egg and mayo thing we're talking about here, right?
Oh my goodness, have you made it yet?
No, because I just saw it yesterday. But you really make that every single day?
I'm gonna make it as soon as we're done here. So here, if you didn't
Mm.
see the video, this is
Yeah.
the simplest egg recipe you'll ever make. Crack an egg into a bowl. Put like a tablespoon of mayo in there. Put some salt and pepper. Whip it up. Throw it into a little ramekin or a microwave, like a little tiny bowl that you've coated that little bowl with butter for 45 seconds. You've got like an egg souffle. It is absolutely fantastic. You could have that on an English muffin. You could have it by itself. You could have that with some avocado. And you're done it. It takes all of 2 minutes total. That's
Have you
cleanup. That's prep. That's everything.
have you tried it with like a flavored mayo? Because that's a big thing now. Anything like that, or just the
Oh,
basics?
that's a good call, Kyle. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
there's
try
like
that.
lime mayos. There's all the different like chipotle mayos and all that stuff. Maybe toss an aioli in there one day if you're like having a cheat day.
Every day's a cheat day. Who are you
Attaboy.
talking to here? But my biggest thing on Instagram that I'm fed is recipes, and
Mm.
I've got another one I'm going to post, and it's like an instant coffee with a bit of honey and some hot water, and you froth that up and pour it into whipped milk, and you've got yourself an instant coffee beverage that costs like 25 cents, as opposed to if you got that at Starbucks, that'd be $8.
That sounds. I'm so hungry right now too. I haven't eaten yet today, and just I have all of the ingredients you're referencing right now, and I think I might be sending you a photo short, Dan.
All right. Check the hair.
Hey guys,
I always wear a what are those like shower caps when
A
I
hairnet. Yeah. Yes,
yeah,
Tim.
I just
yeah. In non-egg related
Ooh.
matters, I have breaking news.
Okay.
oh.
After nearly 40 years, the Toronto Indy is moving from the exhibition place to downtown Markham.
What the?
They
What?
yeah, it's the second longest running IndyCar street race. It's been going since '86. But starting next year, they're going to move the race to August, and they're going to be racing in downtown Markham.
Is this out of the blue? Has this something they've been discussing? I'd not heard this.
I mean, it's not something I'd heard before, but I don't know. I think maybe they're doing it because next year the World Cup is going to be there when the races normally
Okay.
run. But they've signed like an extended agreement. Like this is not a one-off. This is a permanent thing. They're moving it to Markham.
I will say something about the IndyCar series. They self-imploded when they competed against themselves. There used to be kart and there used to be kart alone. And it was the event in Vancouver and in Toronto. When I worked in Fort McMurray, Alberta, I would fly from Fort McMurray, Alberta to Vancouver for the Vancouver Molson Indy. It was that big of an event. It shut down the city. People loved it. Same thing in Toronto. It was an event. And then when Indy came around, kart went away, and then the event status slowly dwindled. So much so this last year, I didn't know the Indy was in town until a friend of ours that we work with at Fox, Jacob Ullman, messaged Jay and I about some Toronto restaurant recommendations because he was coming to town from LA for the Indy. And I said to myself, the Indy still happens here?
Yeah, okay, so someone in the YouTube comments right now, Tim, just double check this. This is not a 1-year thing because of it overlapping with the World Cup, is it?
The article I saw in the Toronto Star said that it is a
Permanent?
multi-year agreement.
Maybe it started off as a discussion for moving it from 1 year and then they just realize it's for the best.
I mean, logistically, I think that's a tough thing to move for 1 year.
I
mean,
totally agree with you, especially when they know exactly how to do it year after year. Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of a big news deal, but it's certainly going to cause less congestion in the core of a city that simply cannot tolerate any more congestion.
And maybe it will bring back some presence to the event with a location change, because Markham will embrace it. I don't know much about Markham's sporting history, but this will have to be one of the biggest events they've ever hosted.
I would think so. And you know what's great about it is we will probably have Pierre McGuire on it to tell us 17 IndyCar stories and just somehow tie it all back to like Ulf Samuelson or something.
I
which is
guarantee
incredible.
you, Pierre has a story about an IndyCar driver coming to the rink or something like
For sure.
that. There's never a time where I've asked him about a player or an athlete where he said, "Yeah, never heard of that guy."
Do you remember those encyclopedias we used to get on CDs on our old computers? That is literally what Pierre is.
I'm
It's
so old.
incredible.
I remember them when they were in book form.
Oh yeah, well, I as well. Dan, I'm not even sure how old you are. I thought we were closer to the same age than you referenced, but that's fine.
Okay, well, let's put it all on the table here. I turn 50 next week.
Okay, so I just turned 46, so you're
Oh, we aren't that far off.
You're not that far off.
I thought you were like 38.
Well, oil of Olay twice a day, you know. I mean, how plug, send me stuff. But you know, it is what it is. It's funny, Dan, because we kind of started this show today talking about the Jays and some of their bullpen woes and stuff. You and I met in a bullpen related scenario, if you recall, making the commercial for this here company.
That's right. It was a baseball themed one where the manager came in and he said, yeah, I was taken out of the game and then you replaced me.
I did. It was a funny commercial. They make a lot of those.
Yeah, that baseball manager came back. He was the same guy in like 3 or 4 different ones. And if you have a keen eye for people in commercials, you will also see that baseball manager also in a Ozempic commercial.
Interesting. Who do we have to producer Tim? How do we get the baseball manager? I don't recall his name. We get him on the show to talk
Great
about his
guy.
experience. He was a great guy. Work
And
on
how
that.
do we get some of that Ozempic money, Tim?
Yeah, well, we get a deal there.
You want Zempic to sponsor the show?
Absolutely.
Free
Tell them we're going to
samples?
kind of trim down the segments or something. We could tie it in.
We won't talk about the long-term effects that Ozempic has on people and that they're pretty much uh, living trials. We'll leave that out, Tim.
Short-term gain, long-term gain, baby.
Oh, man, not to dive too deep into it, but what's going to happen to I pray nothing bad happens to the people that are walking clinical trials of this drug.
It's going to be interesting, but I mean, it's it's scary as it is. You know, I don't want to comment on it in case there's a deal in our future, but I am
Newsflash,
for sale.
there isn't.
There quite clearly is not. We both stay pretty.
I think we're okay talking about Ozempic.
Okay, how much golf you got left for the season?
Oh, this is the best time to golf.
It is.
Fall golf is amazing. In my new location here, I went from 35 minutes from my golf course to 10. And the problem I would always have with fall golf, halfway to the golf course from my old house, I'd say, man, I forgot my leaf blower because I have an electric leaf blower. Now, when I do that, I'll be able to turn around and get my leaf blower because when you get to the green in fall golf, there's always leaves there. And now I'll have the device in the back of the golf cart to blow it off because of my location and my poor memory that when I forget it, the house is only 8 minutes away.
I'm very happy for you, Dan. There's nothing better than being close to your home course. You had a
Oh
home
my
course, or
gosh.
are you touring around, or you kind of hit the same spot every time?
I go to the same course. I find it in my old age a nuisance to go somewhere else because that means I've got to go pick up my clubs. I like just showing up and golfing. I don't like arranging golf. I don't I don't like booking tee times.
Yeah.
I just like going and doing things on my time when I want to. Here's a little fun fact. I don't even book hair appointments because I don't want to be tied down to an appointment. I'll just walk in. If I say, oh, I need a haircut, I'm walking by a place. I'll say, hey, you got anything open? Not today. I say, see you later.
There you have it in summary, folks. A man who likes to golf on a whim, stops by Magic Cuts and wears tremendous shirts, but he's running low, so send him more. We got to stop plugging sponsorship deals because this show is already sponsored by our founding fathers, the Bet Rivers team. We love them, and we love the whole team that helped us do this today. Monzo, Big Z, Alex, producer Tim, who's actually on the show. Tim, you still there? No.
Yep.
Yep. Well, it's been a lot of fun, Dan. And
wait.
Pierre on. Yo, go ahead.
I just saw this rundown. What's this segment? You be the GM.
You want to do it? Do you want?
I don't even know what that is.
Well, okay. I'm going to ask you a question.
Jesus, Dan. You got the rundown, man.
Tim, this is a kid show. Don't use the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah, Tim. Okay,
Don't tell me what to do.
Before it gets too testy, Tim, you can play this one too. Let's pretend we're the GM and we're going to trade for Connor McDavid in the offseason to, the Toronto Blue Jays, to the Maple Leafs. Propose a deal, whether silly or whether real, to get him here.
Okay, so this ties into something I said after Austin Matthews had his 60-goal season. What was that, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? I said the Toronto Maple Leafs should have traded Austin Matthews because he will never be more valuable. So if you were to propose a trade to acquire Connor McDavid, if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews is front and center. So you say, okay, we are giving you our superstar. But then the Oilers are saying, but this guy is the superstar of all superstars, to which the Leafs respond, correct. So you need 2 more players to throw in, along with Austin Matthews. Who those are? Morgan Riley, love that guy. But I think Morgan Riley, good old WHL kid, he would be a good fit in Edmonton. And I think he might like a new change of scenery. And the third piece, I don't know. Tim, who would be, if you're in agreement that you would have to send 3 the Oilers' way to get Connor McDavid and include Austin Matthews and Morgan Riley, who would be your third producer, Tim?
I wouldn't say it would be a third, because if they're trading Connor McDavid, they're probably going into full rebuild mode anyway, right? So they'll probably be like their next 5 number 1 picks.
There you
something
go.
like that.
There you go. That's good. So add in, instead of Morgan Riley, you got Austin Matthews and 3 first-round picks.
I don't think 3 gets it done. I think you need to go at least 5.
And this is why we don't deal in hypotheticals. We deal with facts. We deal with the present. And it's never going to happen anyway. So we could say 10 first-round picks. Doesn't freaking matter.
Probably not. I think I've got a third for you, though, Dan, since we're probably going to clip this and present it as fact. Throw in Joseph Wall, since they just signed Hildeby. Edmonton always needs a reliable goaltender. Wall's a reliable goaltender. Send him out west.
I don't mind that at all because, yeah, the goaltending was problematic for the Oilers in the postseason. It was like watching that Jays game Tuesday night with an 8-1 lead, and you're like, this is secure. And then you're like, oh, right, our bullpen. So the Oilers goaltending was the Jays' current bullpen in the postseason.
You are not incorrect. We are all about analogies here, and that was a good one. We're not getting Connor McDavid. He's not moving.
No, he
He's
hasn't
not
been
moving to
signed yet
Toronto.
either, right? They're like, that's not official, but I heard it was supposed to happen before camp.
He hasn't signed yet. No, they're just waiting on McDavid to say how he wants his deal structured.
Well,
he could
they will
ask
open the
for
floodgates.
anything. I would ask for a percentage of ownership, but that can't be offered in a contract, though, right? Can a player be part owner?
I mean, Bobby Orr got offered on an ownership stake by the Bruins before they traded him to Chicago.
Was Mario Lemieux still
was part of that
playing
Alan
when he
Eagleson
got
deal.
his ownership stake in the Penguins?
No, I think that was after.
Because they owed him so much money, they're like, okay, we'll give you a percentage of the team.
Yeah, seriously. Can the NHL do that sort of Shohei Ohtani, Bobby Bonilla backloading thing? I'm not sure how it works there.
They had provisions up until recently. Yeah, they had provisions up until recently of like we could defer money and stuff, but I think they're closing that loophole. I'm not sure. They just because they just
Producer
redid
Andrew
the
was just in
CBA.
our ear saying that they did try that with Ilya Kovalchuk not that long ago. So I think they're going to close that, as you say, Tim. Whatever. Someone clip this. Present it as fact. That's what we're going to be about moving forward. Hyperbole. The Hyperbole Hour?
You could call the show that. Our vote for the Kyle and I's vote for the name of the show was The Shit Show.
Yeah, and this is a kids show.
Tim,
that just all tied together
saying
nicely.
Shit and using the Lord's name in vain, 2 very different things.
He might have you there, Tim.
Are.
He might have you there, Tim.
Yeah, I agree. They're different.
One would get you in trouble with Sandra O'Toole. One wouldn't. That's how I live life. Would my mom get mad at me for saying this?
That's a good philosophy. It beats Vin Diesel's approach of a quarter mile at a time. Dan, I had a lot of fun today.
It was the best. I can't wait to do this. When are we going to do it?
Friday. We're coming back Friday.
Same time?
Same time.
And it's live.
Again, yes.
Okay.
Folks, thank you very much for joining us here live on the Toronto Sports Rush channel, brought to you by Bet Rivers. We'll see you Friday.